Hey, how's it going, folks? I thought I'd make you guys a couple videos or something this morning, since you folks are the best. As always, I love you folks. You folks are fantastic. Well, so, first video I'm going to make for you is about Barack Obama and the fact that Barack Obama is the father of all living Europeans, basically. Okay, and that's extremely disconcerting and annoying to the overall white mindset, even to fair-minded white people. Even white people's mind that you would consider like abolitionist level. Okay, that would still be very disconcerting to them and upset them a little bit that technically their progenitor, their ancestor, their main first ancestor is Barack Obama. And there's a researcher, an alternative researcher named Freeman, who I used to be friends with back on MySpace a long time ago. Back when MySpace was, kicking, I think like 2005 or 6 or whatever. We used to interact a little bit. But see, generally, the researchers get pissed off at me, because I read 3,000 books, so, you know what I mean? It kind of pisses people off, see what I'm saying? So, when most people was riding a big wheel, I was in the library, reading Carl Jung, at 7 or 8 years old, so. Just annoys the fuck out of people. But, Toltec say that when you have a developed intellect and you maintain a connection to the spirit, that you just agitate the fuck out of people. It's true. But, so this researcher, Freeman, he pretty much proved that Barack Obama is the Pharaoh Akhenaten. Now he says that Barack Obama is a reincarnation of the Pharaoh Akhenaten, which is technically not accurate. The way it actually works is that if you're in the timeline of ancient Egypt, okay, then there's a technology for soul travel. And the initiates use this technology, and the instruction manual was basically the Egyptian Book of the Dead. And the Egyptian Book of the Dead came from the Tibetan Book of the Dead. And the Tibetans got that information from the Cometians and the Atlanteans. Okay, but this is old technology, and it's just technology that a person can travel. They can travel with your subtle bodies intact, but not the physical body. But there's ways to travel with the physical body too. But for this discussion, we're talking about the subtle bodies, and the subtle bodies are the astral body, the etheric body, the mental body, the spiritual body, and the Buddhic and Nirvanic bodies. Those would be very rarefied, subtle spiritual bodies. Okay, so then you'll leave the physical body here. So, for instance, in the Valley of the Kings, in the timeline, or in other places, of course, in the timeline of ancient Egypt, there are all these mummified bodies. And they take the viscera out of the bodies. And when they do that, this technology is used from the Book of the Dead. And the souls that inhabited, that animated that body, the light body, the soul that animated that physical body, consciously goes on a journey. It goes travel. It uses technology from the Book of the Dead. And it can travel other places, other planets, galaxies, universes, whatever. And it can also travel in time. Now, everybody can't travel in time. However, there were certain initiates born, certain groups of them that could almost just do it naturally. And then there were some that developed it. And then there were some people that were practicing forever that could never do it. Yeah. And so Barack Obama is the Pharaoh Akhenaten, a reformer, a person that's there to improve the situation in the face of the most dire circumstances. For instance, when he was Pharaoh, it was time to switch to the honoring and the acknowledgement of the action. It was time by the very Egyptian priests and the elites that ran Egypt. It was even by their rules, it was time to switch over. But they didn't want to do it because of conservatism, stoicism. They just don't, things are the way they are. That we're in power, that's how it is. We don't want to change it. We don't want redistribution of anything, or wealth, or much like similar like today, and so, then Barack Obama, or Akhenaten, he first went along, with all the stuff that was going on in the kingdom at his time, and then at a certain point, he didn't want to go along with it anymore. And that's when problems arose. So he dissented from the status quo, from even what he was, which was Pharaoh, and the way the power structure actually worked. He dissented against it because he saw it as people are being manipulated and coerced and kept at a certain level of understanding of things, so that the status quo, that the elite system, the system of hierarchy, of social hierarchy, and wealth and power, political power, concentrated power, could stay the same. So he dissented against that. He's the Pharaoh. Okay, so he built this city, this place. It was called Tel Amarna. And Tel Amarna means I will not tell. So it's Tel Amar, not. Okay. So it interprets as I will not tell the story of Mara in this place. In other words, I will not tell the story of coercion and manipulation here. So it was one of the first places, one of the first times in a long time that it wasn't going along. The system was being changed from the inside out because he's the Pharaoh. Okay. And it really pissed a lot of people off, because people were pretty much free to express themselves. At first, they had to kind of always express themselves within a narrow confines of what was already a tradition, of what was already accepted expression. Okay, so he changed that. So anyway, this researcher Freeman proved that Barack Obama was Akhenaten. Now, in Europe, back in the day, okay, They had the plague. There was this plague in Europe. It's called the Black Plague. And almost all the people in Europe died. And so that's coming way forward, okay? And almost all the people in Europe died. And then what happened is a lot of the people lived, okay? But I think more than half of Europe died, okay? All right. So that being the case, now the plague of Europe was traced to the Nile River rat. And all the people that lived in Europe could trace their lineage, all of them, back to the Pharaoh Akhenaten. That's been done through peerage studies. They could actually trace their lineages back to the Pharaoh Akhenaten, which means that Barack Obama, President of the United States currently, is the father of every European living. That means he's the father of all white people on this planet. That's what it means. It's amazing, isn't it?